Well, hello YouTube. Good morning. Here we are. We have ourselves a start to another day. Well, a little bit of a wet day, but hey, we said it was going to end up getting rain. And yeah, welcome to our vlog. So, here we go. Well, last night we got some rain rolled on in. The rain turned into snow, but of course, being the ground is warm, the snow didn't stay around. The snow kinda came and went, leaving behind a little bit of wet. I guess it kinda is a good thing. It would be nice if it was rain that could wash away the dirt. Keeping things clean and green, or getting things clean and green. But this time of year, you know, the weather can go, well, either way, right? Well, last night, because of the weather change, I really didn't get much sleep. So rather than slipping slowly into madness, waiting for the pain to go away, I ended up doing some stuff in the office. I got office cleanup done. Still haven't tackled the filing nightmare or situation. I will tackle that at a later date. We'll have to see how that works out. You know, I may have some time coming up on my hands where I can't do much of anything, so filing like that would be probably the only option. So we'll see how that all works out. I'm gonna be posting some free classified ads. I believe I touched on this in a vlog the other day, just to get rid of a few items. Some of the items I had, whether they were projects or things that I bought or things that have been just kicking around for, well, to be honest, for far too long. I'd like to get them, well, out of my hair. One, you don't have to trip over them anymore. It gives you room, or makes you room, for a new project. And two, well, it just plain and simple declutters your yard, right? Or, you know, workspace or shop or whatever. Sometimes you tend to hide things away, or hoard things up, if you want to say, in the hopes of using them for the future. And sometimes that future doesn't happen the way you're intending for it to happen. So over time you have to come to the realization on your own terms, kind of, that you have to let them go. You can't keep it, right? They just plain and simple have to go. So you list a classified ad, or make a dump run, or whatever you got to do to get them out of there, and around you go. So this summer I'm gonna probably be a bit of a summer of cleaning, if you want to say. Getting rid of things, thinning out things, trying to tie up loose ends. After, of course, the recovery time has come and passed, then hopefully all that will come to reality. I know I've touched on it in a lot of vlogs in the last couple of weeks with the whole surgery thing and all. However, that's been a big thing that's been on my mind for a lot of years, to be honest with you. A great pressure that's been on my head, and I know surgery sometimes is not the answer. Because really, to be honest, the more, you know, you go in and monkey around with something, the worse it can get, especially if they don't do it right. And something like a hand or a knee or a foot or even your back, you really can't live without much, or well, your life gets impacted greatly if you have to live without one. And so I'm hoping the doctor's got good steady hands that day, and he can go in there and do what he needs to do and get on out, and hopefully this is the answer. You know, there may be a few more trips to the city. I imagine they'll probably still want to do their round of injections still, and probably still have a few follow-up appointments, but I'm hoping in the next 6 or 8 months or so to be done with the whole ordeal, and we'll put that behind us and we'll move on. Because every time I look around the yard here, I see more and more projects or areas that need to be dealt with, or things that needs to be fixed or painted, or I remember when I first moved into the house, it was a white house with gray shingles and a white trim on the windows, and I painted the trim, well, blue, kind of a nice dark blue, similar to what you've seen on the sheds and stuff. And I was thinking the other day, you know, that paint hasn't stood up very well. But yet I was thinking as well, I came to the realization that it's also been like 8 years or so since it was painted. So it's not flaking as in, you know, looking like total crap. But at the same time, it needs to be touched up. For example, this window here was a used window that I picked up that someone was replacing their windows with, and kind of just bubblegummed it in this hole and called her good. Well, as you tell, the paint is flaking on here, and you can see that it definitely needs to be painted. Whereas an example, this here shed was done in about 2008, and as you see here, the paint is weathering. You know, give her a bit of a light sand, run a bead of tape along here, and well, give that a paint. That would be probably a good light thing to do when I'm in recovery, especially toward the end of the physio program. I probably wouldn't want to do it at the beginning, but toward the end you should be able to do it, and everything should work out the way it is supposed to work out. Well, of course, today being a wet day, I have a choice. I can either spend the day denned up in the office, waiting for the sun to break. I can fill the truck up and head for a road trip, Pointer East per se, and head for a road trip to the city. Or maybe I could get in here in the garage and, well, start doing a little bit of a cleanup. The last little mini project I did, I kind of just stopped right in the middle when I was done and didn't finish the cleanup. So the garage itself needs to be tidied on up, give her a good old sweep. I do have another semi-mini project that I want to do. Something that'll make my life easier in the next, well, few weeks or so. I noticed, or I have noticed over the last couple of years, that I have not been getting a particular camera angle that I want to get when I film a video, whether it's a tutorial video or unboxing video. So I want to make me a camera rig, if you want to say, that will work. However, I'd lucked into something that was already pre-built that does about 90% of already what I want to do to it. So if I make an adapter to go from this rig to the camera, then it'll save me a lot of headache and time, and kind of work better all the way around. So pretty much, guys, gonna probably fire up the heater, take the chill off in the garage, and get on with it, and we'll see how far the day goes from here. Well, continuing on with the day, of course. Been spending a little bit of time in the shop doing a few things. My uploads have run on down now, so I gotta go inside and do all the filling out of all the good stuff, but they don't have to go live for a couple more days anyway, so we're good on time there. Well, posted a couple of things for sale, or for giveaway, on the classified ads, and I've already got some replies of people that maybe are coming to get them, so well, that's pretty sweet there. Trying to decide what else I can let go of, what else I can give away or get rid of, per se. You know, you have ideas of things that you're starting to have second thoughts on whether you should get rid of them or not. But that's kind of how it goes, right? You want to keep them, but yet you can't keep them, or you shouldn't keep them, because really, are you really going to use them? You know, I have some orange pylons here that I got on a good deal that I thought maybe I could use when I built the deck to make sure people don't fall in the hole, or if I dug a backyard pond or something. But yet, truth be told, no one's going to fall in the hole because nobody comes in my yard. And if people are in my yard and they go past the caution tape, well, they must be a special kind of stupid then, you know, aren't they, right? So I might post them up or throw them in the free pile and let people pick through the carcasses, and again, whatever doesn't get going, then when I do my dump run, we'll get on the trailer and gone. It's a good way to declutter, and people love free things. There's people out there that don't have things, and they tend to gravitate towards free things, whether they need them or not, mainly just because they're free. Other people tend to grab free things because they see potential in them. Sort of like the way I am, or was, especially in the early days. I'd bring stuff home that were broken, and I'd fix them and sometimes resell them. Because, well, it was a great way to make a little extra money. Excellent way to make extra cash. You know, and then things change and you can't get at your projects. But yet you're still bringing stuff home, and then pretty soon you're overwhelmed with more things, because then you can fix. So then you got to do this and get rid of things, or else things end up snowballing to the point where you can't move at all. Well, found a solution to one of my little mini projects. If it doesn't work, then I'll go back to the drawing board. It's simple. It's something I've already got, something I didn't realize I still had, something that I didn't realize I still had, and well, it'll save me the time in fabricating up this mini project item. So I guess it's a win-win on all fronts. But of course, going to do a little bit more in the garage. I'd like to get a few things put away, things you know, straightened on out. Give the floor a bit of a sweep, get set up for next week. I am hoping to do a couple of things, and then it'll be good. Little bit of a evening, or I guess early evening update. Well, ended up going for a nice little drive in the country after spending some time in the shop. Kind of a neat little way to get out of town for a bit, see some scenery, you know, drive, right? You know, didn't really do anything, didn't really find anything per se, and just got out of town. Kind of a neat way to clear your head with a lot of things that are going on, and think about the future, or think about other stuff to get done and stuff. And well, it was kind of nice, right, to drive at a slower pace instead of ripping around town, you know, having to drive 60k, you know, and kind of just enjoying the scenery. Well, of course, all good things must come to an end, and came on back to town. Now I gotta score some supper, and before you know it, it'll be time to shut her on down. Well, trying to work out in my mind the next potential project. I got two ways I can go. I can either pay it done, and it might be a little pricey because, well, there's going to be some labor and time and figuring and stuff. Or I can save probably half the cost and to do it myself. Might be a little heavier gauge than what normally it would have been if it was built by somebody else. However, I suppose it'll work out to be another video project. I may not be able to get all the welding that needs to be done before I go for surgery, but I can probably pick it up at, you know, a later date again and finish it. Then, of course, I have to involve a third party to do exactly what I need to do because, well, I'm not a painter, right? And then, well, it'll be good. So I have to decide whether I want to pay it done, possibility of paying a little more out of pocket, or have the challenge of building it and tackling it myself, kind of like I did, you know, before, and seeing how it worked out. You know, I have the little welder, and the little welder will glue together that thickness of steel, especially if I take my time and, well, you know, work at it to get it done. You don't rush it, and I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. If you contract a shop to do it, there'll be their labor rate plus the cost of material, where I already have the material. I've had it for quite a few years now. And my labor is basically free right now, other than, you know, previous commitments or prior commitments. And then, well, work at it, and even if it takes to the fall or so, then it is what it is, right? What's the worst that can happen? You fail at it and you end up with scrap metal? Because really the metal sheets, the 14 gauge sheets that I already have are already been sitting for so long that they're free, you know. They don't really have earmarked for any project, nor do I have any project coming in the future where I'm going to use those sheets. And even if I did have a build in the future, the welder that I have is not something I would use for a build that large, nor would I have sufficient amount of steel to do a build that large. So I have to buy, you know, 6 or 8 sheets anyway, so it all works out the same, right? I think the challenge would be neat to try to build something like that. I believe the last time I had the welder out probably would have been 2011, maybe, when I had the marathon trailer. I had to do some welding on it, and it hasn't been touched since, so I have no idea even if the welder even works. That was kind of why I was talking about doing the wood rack project, because the wood rack project, I would know for sure by the end of that project whether the welder was working or not before I tackled something that large. But anyways, I got the shop all cleaned up, so whatever direction I choose to go, things are already set out. It's just a matter of do I choose the small sheet of steel or the large sheet of steel, or start with the square stock for the rack and do it from there. You know, if I fail, there's always plan B to pay it done. If I succeed, well then I've got the knowledge under my belt, as well as the pride, if you want to say, that I kind of did one last thing that I could, you know. But gonna go in, do a few things, score me some supper, and well, we'll probably end up seeing y'all when it's dark. We come to the end of another day. Well, as always, it was a good day. Any day above ground is definitely a good one. Well, was able to get in the shop today and do a few things. A little bit of straightening up, a little bit of tidying. I, well, did a little bit of thinking about starting another project. I'm still probably going to end up building that wood rack, because that's something that's been on the agenda for quite a while now. And I may or may not start a larger, semi-larger project. You know, like I said earlier, I have the steel, and I do have, you know, I'll semi the ability. I think if I take my time, don't get it super heavy or bulky per se, it should all work out okay. I have the square tubing for braces. I may have to pick up some round stock. I don't believe I have any round stock, but that's just a trip down to the steel shop away. Some of my steel has gotten rusty from being outside, so I'll have to do a really good cleaning before I weld, and take my time, and it should work out. I you know, kind of want to do something a little bit creative. It's been a long time since I had the welder fired up, And you never know, maybe by the time I get the wood rack built, it'll be out of my system. Or maybe we'll carry on over to, well, the larger project and see how it turns out. It's kind of one of them things, right? How long do you store stuff? Kind of getting back to that, right? Before you throw it away. And the sheet steel has been around here for so long. It's been in multiple outbuildings before resting inside the garage. And it's been resting inside the garage for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Good 4 or 5 years anyway. And it's not really in my way because, well, it's sheet steel, right? It doesn't really take up much room. But it's the point of it, right? I was keeping it around because if I built a metal trailer, the steel would definitely come in handy. It'd be nice for a workbench top. It'd be nice for multiple things, you know, and it may or may not happen. It's kind of one of them things, right? We have to play it by ear, see what happens, and see how far it goes. Like I mentioned earlier, if I pay it done, you know, it'll be done, especially while I'm down in my downtime. They'll be working on it. I'll have to cough up, you know, some money, of course, but it'll be done. Where if I do it myself, it might take an extra few months because I will have started it, and then it'll be, you know, probably end up being put aside for a month or so until I am back to where I need to be, and then I can start it up again. Then I'll have to send it away and get the artistic touch put to it. Well, of course, Monday's another day, and we'll probably end up doing some running around on Monday, some phone calls on Monday or so, and dropping those plans off and seeing what becomes of that. You know, I don't really need it tomorrow or next month or even 2 months from now per se. It'd be nice to have it in place before the fall, but it's kind of one of them things that doesn't really have to happen right away, but at the same time it's kind of one of them things that it's one step closer to finalizing, you know, for the end, right? Well, of course, I got some free stuff I'll be putting out. I answered a couple more ads for people looking for things and sent them photos of my free stuff, but I only heard back from one of them, so either they weren't interested in the free items or they're busy doing other things, so we'll see what shakes out of that. Like I mentioned, I'll put it in the free pile, and if people do not want it, then when I do my dump run here in a bit, then I'll throw it on the top and take her on out. I got quite a bit of stuff I'd like to do before I'm down for 6 weeks, but if it doesn't happen, then we will push through it later on this summer. But like I said, guys, gonna end her all here. Today was a good day, tomorrow's another one, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.